Bring all your friends. Hey, welcome to Faith and Focus with Illyria, where we talk about all things life, business, and leadership. Look, y'all, it has been a while. I started this YouTube journey. I got a little bit discouraged, and then I just kind of put everything on pause. Life was lifing. It was doing the most. And so now, I have had a birthday since then. I turned 48. I hosted my very first The One retreat for the unmarried people. It's a ministry that I have for those who have been never been married, who have been divorced, who are single parents, all of it. If you're unmarried, then that is the ministry for you. And we hosted our very first retreat. Let me tell you, the opposition that was coming against that retreat was something amazing. It was a lot, but the Lord met us in that place. It was at Deep Creek, Maryland. It was amazing. We built a community of people, a community of people and support, and so that just because you're not married doesn't mean that you don't need support and that you don't need community. And so that was the key to our topics and everything this past retreat. It far exceeded my expectations. I was pretty much in tears like the first night because I just couldn't believe that it was happening. But life lifed. Now it is already mid-May, and here I am just to greet you, just to say hello, give you a quick little update on life. So today I had the opportunity to go to an event. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. I was under the weather a couple weeks back and last week, and then like this week it's just trying to get my energy up, trying to get my lung capacity open again. It has been a lot, so please excuse me if I yawn. I had the opportunity to go to an event today hosted by Pastor Sherelle Williams, the Sent for You Ministries, and the topic today was focusing on the young people and the young adults and the teens and how we can reach them for Christ. And one of the things that they said was that we needed to reach out. Like, perhaps we need to reach out to the universities and say, hey, we're having this event. Would you like to participate, or would you like for us to participate in one of your events? And that's something that we have not done, because a lot of times when the young people want to come to church or what have you, we're in such a place of judgment because this is how we have always done church. And this is not necessarily what they want. Young people don't want religion. They want God. And so if you can give them Jesus, that's what they want. They don't want, your religion. They don't want the old way of doing things, but they want a relationship with Christ. And so if you can, just encourage a young person who walks past you, or, answer some of their concerns. Another one of the things that came up, which is so completely true, is the young people think that we had life easy, and it's because we don't want to tell our testimony, because perhaps we are ashamed, or we have been working so hard to try and make their lives easier that we kind of slighted them with them learning what our struggles were. And we struggled with a lot of the same things. We struggled with smoking weed. We struggled with sex. We struggled with pornography. We struggled with alcoholism. We struggled with relationships and bullying and, but we didn't teach them how to handle those things. There was a gentleman there, his name was Coach Harry, and he had everyone who was 50 and under stand up. And so I was like, this is kind of weird because, when you're at my age, you feel like you're grown, right? But he said he was 77 years old, and he blessed me because he had us stand up and he apologized. It was an apology I did not know that I needed, but he apologized because he said his generation didn't teach us properly, didn't teach us how to make it through life, how to run a business, how to love God. Like, I've been saved since I was 15 years old, like a month before I turned 16, and I have been saved since then. And I feel like I had some pretty good mentors, but in the reality is I did not have anyone to teach me like finances. I didn't have anyone to teach me how to run a business. A lot of it was they were so busy hustling, so busy working, that we just kind of got pulled along and we weren't taught how to do certain things. And so that happened. And then he runs a program called the organization is, or the website is bossthemovement.org, and he helps young people as young as 6.5 years old on up, and teaches them about business and finance and how to love God. And so if that is something that perhaps you need, go to that website and definitely see what they're up to. The other thing is, it taught me, today's presentation or today's event taught me that there are some things that I can be doing to reach out. So we, all the tables had a word. The theme was rebuild, restore, repair, and build. And we had the word repair. And so in us talking about repairing, I learned that, okay, when you look at repair, that means that there's something that needs to be fixed. But sometimes when you go to repair that thing and you pull back the layers, you find out that there's something else that needs to be fixed before you could fix what you initially went to repair. And then we talked about how if you don't repair what is broken and you let time go past, then it becomes more expensive to repair, or it has to be replaced. And so that happens a lot in relationships. And so, we want to build that gap. We want to fill in the gap between us and the younger generations. One of the things that has been concerning me a lot, and I have really been studying, is because I am going to be a substitute teacher next school year. And one of the things that I was concerned about was that I was hearing a lot of YouTubes and conversations among teachers who, a lot of teachers are quitting because there's no real communication between them and the parents or the students. And so the students are angry and they are lashing out at the teachers. And then the teachers go to talk to the parents, and the parents are also lashing out at the teachers. I don't know if it's that they have forgotten that the teachers are human, that this is a career choice for them, that they really don't have to be there. And a lot of the blame for the student's behavior is poured out on the teacher, when in reality the parents don't want to deal with their own child. You know, they might have 2 or 3 children at home, but these teachers have 25, 30 students, all with the same issues. And so it's very difficult on that one person, and to put all that responsibility on that one person, plus the responsibility of trying to teach your children whatever. So one of the things that has been concerning me too, that a lot of the teachers have been talking about, is that the children don't know how to read. They don't know how to read, especially on grade level. A lot of 7th graders are reading on a 2nd or a 4th grade reading level. And so what have the parents been doing all this time? Because the schools have started to push these students through. So what can we do as a community? What can we do as believers to help our young people to navigate life, to be able to read, to pick up on their math skills, to be able to live this life abundantly? What can we do? One of the things, and I like social media as much as the next person, but I think we're so attracted and tied and addicted to our phones that we haven't been looking up to see the world around us or to experience the life around us. So when life actually happens to our young people, they think that we don't know what's going on. They think that, you know, they're the only ones going through this, and that life is hard, and it's just that much harder for the simple fact we have not shown them. So that's something that I want all of us to work on. Let's work on encouraging our young people. Let's work on, you see young adults out here with these young families. How about invite them to dinner? How about make them some dinner? How about give them an encouraging word? If you can't do any of those other things, how about pray for them? Let's pray for them. So that's where I am today. That's my life update. Life is doing what it's doing. But I want to encourage you today to love on a young person, encourage them, answer their questions, and maybe tell them a little bit about your testimony. I love you, and I'll see you next time.